Hello, I'm David Stead, artist. I'm lucky enough to have my studio here in the stable block at Norton Conyers house. Norton Conyers has been part of the National Garden Scheme for many years now and would of course normally be open to the public. I'm sure we will later in the year. We can keep our fingers crossed. And in the meantime, I thought you might like to have a look around the garden. The peonies have always been a major feature of the garden here at Norton Conyers, and we're very much hoping by the time they're in bloom you'll be able to come and visit. The Iris border too is just beginning. The garden here is a delight whenever you visit. And in recent years it's undergone many changes in keeping with its 18th century origins. Last summer I was lucky enough to speak to the man responsible. So the man largely responsible for the garden in its present form is plantsman Giles Gilby. When did you first arrive here, Giles?
It is in 1995, I think it was.
Really? So kind of 25 years ago?
Feels a long time now, but
yeah.
I've enjoyed every minute.
So would you say there was a philosophy behind the garden?
There is. It's a historic wall garden, so we got to work within the sort of confines of that. And I'm very fond of wildlife, nature, whether it be wild plants, insects, birds, animals, etc. So we try to encourage whatever we can, really.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about, in terms of gardening practices. Hello. That's good. Yeah. That's okay. What do you do to encourage wildlife?
We use the bare minimum of herbicides, insecticides, fungicides, etc. If we can get away without using any at all, we do.
Yeah.
We compost everything, all the green waste from the garden. All that comes back onto the garden to improve the soil quality.
Right.
We are naturally a very light soil here, which means it gets very dry very quickly. So one way of sort of combating that is by replacing the organic material into the soil.
What's done particularly well in the garden this year?
At the moment, agapanthus are really doing extremely well.
These look superb,
They
don't
are
they?
stunning, aren't they, in the blues and the whites. And also make a very good cut flower, of course.
Right, yeah. Because a lot of the cut flowers are used in the house, aren't they?
Yes, and they really bring the house to life. You can't beat fresh flowers in the house. The inevitable sweet peas, dahlias, statice, chrysanthemums. So we do quite a wide range. So in a good year you get cut flowers from sort of early summer right through till well into November, late November. Then we have dried flowers from the rest of the year. Yeah, you grow species just for using for dried flowers? Yes, we do a statice, which is particularly good because that will keep its colour beautifully for a long time. Then we do the phasalias, the Chinese lanterns, with these lovely sort of orange pods really, and they look lovely, and again they'll keep their colour for years really, as long as they're dry. Giles, the buddleia have done superbly, haven't they? Yes, I'm very fond of buddleias because they're so good for wildlife, bees, butterflies, etc. And this is a particularly nice one because it's not such a big grower. It's Buddleia Nanho Blue. It flowers over a longer period than straight Buddleia Davidii, I think. Graceful, nice.
The vegetable garden is now an integral part of the garden, but that hasn't always been here, has it?
No. Originally when I started, we didn't really do much more soft fruit, cut flowers or anything like that, but we're doing more and more now. This garden in its heyday would have produced vegetables, cut flowers and fruit for the house. So it's something we like to sort of continue to do. We also do an element of training for gardeners of the future. And to sort of have a fairly broad training in horticulture is quite a useful thing, really. So hands-on as opposed to theoretical.
How many gardeners are there?
There's 4 paid gardeners as such. We only work 2 days a week. We have various volunteers as well. Of my paid helpers, they've all actually been trained here as well, so having trained them, we can't get them to leave.
One of several fascinating features of the garden is the wall here, which was a heated wall. There's evidence of flues on the other side of it. On this side were hothouses, and you can see where they've been. And here on the other side, the evidence of flues possibly. Certainly there was a flue coming out of the top. There are 3 here at different levels, and they go all along the wall here. We think that they may have been for cleaning out soot, which would have been used on the garden. Of course, everything was used, nothing wasted. That would have forced fruit, but also vegetables, you know, starting plants off in the spring. These are the quince trees, and they're quite unusual, really, aren't they?
Yeah, they're lovely because they're beautiful in flower, lovely pale pink flowers, and outstanding. I like the shape of them. They're sort of relaxed looking. They fit in beautifully in the garden, and these rather pear-like big yellow fruit, which are very hard, beautiful scent, and you can make the most wonderful jelly out of them, or you can make membrio, or you can mix with apples and things like that. They're a lovely fruit. They just take a bit of getting used to know how to cook them, really. But very highly ornamental. And they add beautifully to this side of the garden. They do indeed, yes. Yes.
Yeah. The trees really do, don't they? They kind of give it they give it the structure for the garden.
A garden, you have to have trees in a garden. Even in the winter, they've lost all their leaves, but they're still there, still a presence.
There's something sculptural about them, isn't there?
Yes.
They give real lovely shapes.
Some look better in the winter almost, because you can see the branch framework.
Yeah.
They're just so good.
The apple trees, the older apple trees, though, I suppose they're coming towards the end of their lives.
Some are going to be probably 100 years old, which is about the lifespan you expect for an apple, really.
And what about the future of the garden? You were talking possibly about a wildflower meadows, which we're losing at a terrifying rate.
Yes, I mean, we're setting our sights outside the garden rather now, and we'd really like to sort of improve the wildflowers outside the garden. We want to try and recreate a proper Dales hay meadow, which we're sort of on the way with. We're getting there slowly, because we do like to be busy.
That's good. Thank you, Giles.